Will 50-year mortgages turn us into a nation of people renting from banks? Boris Johnson weighs 50-year mortgages that your children can inherit. Britain won't be the first country where younger generations inherit debt instead of wealth. There we must look to Japan. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to cover breaking news from The Guardian, Financial Times, and much more. There's so much information to unpack here. Thank you so much for tuning in. One caveat, I'm a Florida, Georgia real estate broker, not a financial advisor. Alright, let's begin. Cautious welcome for idea to tackle housing crisis, but experts warn of risks to those inheriting. Downing Street is exploring the idea of trying to tackle the housing crisis with ultra-long mortgages of up to 50 years that could pass between generations, allowing more people to build up equity rather than pay rent. Mortgage experts said the idea could bring some benefits but flagged problems, including the potential to saddle children with debt, and the fact it would not tackle the fundamental issue of housing supply. Boris Johnson, speaking to reporters during his trip to the NATO summit in Madrid this week, confirmed that the idea of 50-year mortgages was being looked at, saying the government wants to find all sorts of creative ways to help people into ownership. Asked if he was considering ultra-long mortgages, he replied, "Yes, certainly." And the article goes on to say, the idea of multi-decade mortgages being transferred between generations is not new and has been pioneered in Japan, where 100-year family mortgages have been offered for some time. Housing shortage. Some brokers have accused the government of ignoring the real problem, the lack of housing supply, while others reckon there's a bigger opportunity in 30-year fixed mortgages, labeling a 50-year term too expensive in the long run. Director at Harmony Financial Services, Imran Hussain, said 50-year term mortgages are a cop-out from the government when there simply aren't enough houses being built. Which smart person thought, well, houses are already 10 times people's income in most cases, but let their kids keep paying the same mortgage in the future? Founder of brokerage firm Hudson Rose, Graham Taylor, agreed increasing access to credit is an easy fix and could have negative repercussions for prospective borrowers in the future. It could ultimately lead to house prices increasing further, said Taylor. The intergenerational mortgage model from Japan has been mooted, but we also need to remember that culturally, we do not tend to live in intergenerational homes in the UK, so this may have limited appeal. So, monetary policy created housing inflation through low interest rates and debt monetization, and politicians want to put a band-aid on the problem through fiscal policies. Where are we going with this? Housing in countries like Japan have far exceeded wages to the point that 100-year mortgages are the only way to sustain high housing prices as wages can no longer keep up. Could this be the future of housing? Could paying off your mortgage be your grandchildren's dream? Instead of inheriting wealth, the next generation will inherit debt. 50-year mortgages will turn us into a nation of people renting from banks. Instead of cruising through retirement, today's young adults may be side hustling through the final decades to pay off huge mortgages. If you're a young adult and looking to buy your first home, where do you hope to be in 50 years' time? As house prices soar, do you dream about one day becoming a property millionaire too, cashing in your 60s so you can go on a few cruises before passing chunks of cash down to your children and grandchildren? The British dream is now of making money from your home and sailing off into the sun on it. The reality? You could still be paying off your extra long mortgage in old age, or your descendants may be doing so after you're dead. And it goes on to say, before Boris Johnson's administration imploded, we heard that the government is considering ultra-long mortgages in a bid to find creative ways to help get mortgage lending to first-time buyers. These mortgages could, reports suggested, be up to 50 years long and be passed from parents to children. What this means in practice is that homeownership will become more like renting a house from a bank. One of the most absurd parts of our economy is that houses earn more money than people in Britain today. Since the year 2000, UK house price growth has significantly outpaced the rise in average earnings. No matter who becomes the next prime minister, house price inflation will remain a serious social and economic problem. Mortgage terms in Britain have been slowly increasing for some time. 20 or 25-year mortgages used to be standard, but in recent years, that's gone up to 30 to 35 years, with some lenders starting to offer 40-year deals. There are now some countries in the world where longer-term mortgages are the only way to keep housing markets where prices are high, but ordinary people's wages cannot keep up. Consider Japan, where a long-term fixed-rate mortgage known as the Flat 35 is offered by the government in partnership with banks, which people can take out until the age of 80. FHA has already added a 40-year mortgage as a tool for home retention for struggling borrowers. As housing prices have soared, the federal government could back 50-year mortgages which could pass along to your children, essentially making homeownership more like renting a home from a bank. This would be inflationary, as would-be homebuyers would be loyal to cheaper monthly payments instead of home prices, thereby driving up the cost of housing. I think we could see 50-year mortgages in the United States. Will we become a nation like Japan where home ownership could be more like renting a home from a bank with no real chance of ownership? Could paying off your mortgage become your grandchildren's dream? Instead of inheriting wealth, your children will inherit debt. What do you think of a 50-year mortgage? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that like button. I'm a Florida, Georgia real estate broker, not a financial advisor. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.